existing vaccines still effective against UK South African variants? At least 8 people killed in shooting at Indianapolis FedEx facility. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Sentiasa. You're watching News at 10. The COVID-19 vaccines currently being used in the country are still effective in protecting the recipients against the UK B117 and South African B1351 variants. However, Health Minister Dr. Adam Baba said the ministry is still awaiting reports from the World Health Organization (WHO) and the United States Centers for Disease Control and Prevention (CDC) relating to the effects of the vaccines against the two variants.
Kita dapati varian yang telah pun telah pasti dengan rujukan genom yang dibuat oleh Kementerian Kesihatan terhadap beberapa pembawa ataupun travelers, pengembara yang balik ke negara kita, dan walaupun kita telah maklum bahawa varian ini telah ada dalam komuniti, terutama sekali varian dari Afrika Selatan. 17 kes telah berkesan dan 2 kes varian daripada UK berkesan yang latest lah. Jadi untuk itu pertimbangan kita ialah varian ini yang mana lebih luas punya transmission, dan yang paling kita bimbang ialah varian ini menyebabkan asymptomatic cases yang berada dalam komuniti.
Meanwhile, the Health Ministry is prepared to work with Sarawak State Government to secure Chinese-made CanSino vaccine for people in the state. Dr. Adam Baba said the single-dose vaccine is more feasible for people living in the interiors and having difficulties going to their second vaccination appointment.
Untuk CanSino ini lebih baik sebenarnya digunakan untuk kes-kes di pendalaman kerana dia melibatkan satu dos. Dan single dose ini sangat efektif untuk kita memberi vaksinasi kepada mereka yang sukar datang ke turun.
Yesterday, Sarawak Deputy Chief Minister Dato' Amar Douglas Ugah Embas was reported as saying that the state government had requested approximately 800,000 doses of the CanSino vaccine to be supplied to the state to facilitate vaccination for the people living in the interiors. He made the request during a meeting with the coordinating minister for the National COVID-19 Immunisation Programme, Khairi Jamaluddin, in Kuching. Dr. Adam said Malaysia is set to receive about 3.5 million doses of CanSino vaccine from China in stages beginning this month. The number of new daily infections in Malaysia continues to show an upward trend, with 2,551 new cases reported today. According to a statement by Health Director General Tan Sri Dr. Noor Hisham Abdullah, 29 of them were imported cases, while the remaining 2,522 were local transmissions. Sarawak recorded the highest number of new infections for 2 days in a row, with 960 cases reported, followed by Selangor with 590 cases and Kuala Lumpur with 245 cases. Meanwhile, 1,524 cases recovered and were discharged yesterday, bringing the total number of recoveries up to 350,563, equivalent to a 94.61% recovery rate. Following this development, the number of active cases in Malaysia currently stands at 18,600. From the amount, 227 of them are currently being treated in intensive care units, ICU, with 91 requiring respiratory aid. The Health Ministry also reported 2 new COVID-19 related deaths in the last 24 hours, bringing the death toll in the country up to 1,365. Meanwhile, 7 new clusters were identified today, involving 3 workplace-related clusters, 2 detention centre clusters, 1 community cluster, and another education-related cluster. The enhanced movement control order enforced in 3 localities have been extended to 30th April due to a dramatic increase in new infections over the course of 1 week. The localities involved are Institute Aminuddin Baki and its staff quarters in Sri Layang, Bentong Pahang, College Tafiz Sains Nurul Aman, Kok Lanas, Kota Baru in Kelantan, as well as Taman Tawau Lama and Kampung Batu Payung, Tawau Sabah. According to a statement by Senior Minister for Security, Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob, 5 positive cases were detected out of 9 screening tests conducted in Taman Tawau Lama. Meanwhile, in Kampung Batu Payung, 8 individuals were found positive out of the 12 screened. As for College Tafiz Sains Nurul Aman, Kok Lanas, Kota Baru, 31 COVID-19 cases were reported out of 56 tests conducted. Furthermore, 420 screening tests were conducted at Institute Aminuddin Baki and its staff quarters in Sri Layang, Bentong Pahang, which saw 15 positive cases recorded. Kelantan Police have asked the people to use a new permission letter for interstate or inter-district travel during the enforcement of the Movement Control Order MCO in 7 districts in the state starting today until 29th of April. Its Chief Dato' Shafian Mamat said it was found that there were some people who are still using old letters. He said action will be taken against those who are still stubborn. Dato' Shafian said this to reporters after inspecting a roadblock at the Sultan Yahya Petra Bridge earlier today. He said 500 police personnel and volunteers would be stationed at 17 roadblocks for 2 weeks during the MCO period. On Wednesday, Senior Minister Security, Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob, said the affected 7 districts are Kota Baru, Pasir Mas, Pasir Putih, Bachok, Machang, Tumpat and Tanah Merah. He said that health authorities confirmed an increase in the number of cases by 30.5% from 756 to 1,088 for the past 14 days. Parents have been advised against bringing their children along to Ramadan bazaars in the state of Perak following the threat posed by the COVID-19 pandemic. Menteri Besar Dato' Sarani Mohamad said the state government is still dissatisfied with the current compliance rate as the people continue to disregard the standard operating procedures SOP in place.
Not only pengunjung, peniaga pun kena patuh untuk kebaikan kita bersama. Jadi kena dipikirkan kaedah cara bagaimana kita nak menghadkan ataupun kita nak menjarakkan orang masuk membeli itu.
He was speaking to reporters after distributing Hari Raya goodies to orphans at the Dewan Complex Community Desa Kemasin Lenggong today. Dato' Sarani said, based on reports he received, most visitors failed to practice physical distancing. He said the local authorities need to find ways to ensure that people would follow the SOP in a strict manner, especially on physical distancing. The government has approved an allocation of about 5.8 million ringgit to the Segamat Municipal Council MPS to build and upgrade public facilities to help boost economic and tourism activities as well as income of the locals. Housing and Local Government Minister Dato' Zuraida Kamaruddin said the construction and upgrading projects involve 6 locations, with 5 of them in the Segamat Parliamentary Constituency, while another one in Pemanis State Constituency under the Sekijang Parliamentary Constituency. Of the total, she said 2 million ringgit was allocated to build a recreation centre on the banks of Sungai Segamat, Jalan Sultan, and 1 million ringgit to upgrade the Jementah Market and the bus terminal in Jementah Town. She added that a total of 1.5 million was also allocated for the development of the MPS food court in Jabi Town and convenience stalls in Jalan Aji, while the remaining 1.3 million was for the construction of Dataran Yayasan and food court in Taman Yayasan.
Memandangkan Jementah tidak ada bus terminal, jadi mereka meminta kita gabungkan pembinaan satu bus terminal di sini bersama-sama dengan pasar yang sedia ada. Selepas saya lihat lawatan tadi, saya kira tidak perlu untuk merobohkan pasar ni. Pasar ni kita akan upgrade dan meningkatkan lagi susun aturnya.
She said this in a press conference after visiting the Jemantah market today. Datuk Zuraida said all the construction and upgrading projects were expected to start this year and will take between 2 and 3 years to complete. Senator Dato' Gwandi Kohoy took the oath of office as the Deputy Federal Minister before Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah today. Dato' Gwandi, who is Sabah's Parti Solidarity Tanah Air Kusta Secretary General, took the oath of office at a ceremony at Istana Negara. The ceremony was witnessed by Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin, Chief Justice Tun Tengku Maimun Tuan Mat and Chief Secretary to the Government Tan Sri Muhammad Zuki Ali. Also present were Tourism, Arts and Culture Minister Dato' Sri Nancy Shukri and Agriculture and Food Industry Minister Dato' Sri Dr. Ronald Kiandi. Meanwhile, Dato' Gwandi, when met after the ceremony, confirmed that he was appointed Deputy Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture. He thanked the Prime Minister for giving the opportunity for Star to be in the federal cabinet, while expressing his hope to revitalise the tourism sector, which is one of the sectors affected by COVID-19. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister's office in a statement today said that Dato' Gwandi's appointment as Deputy Federal Minister was consented by the Yang di-Pertuan Agong in accordance with Clause 1, Article 43A of the Federal Constitution. He was appointed to the post to replace Dato' Sri Dr. Jeffrey G. Kitingan, who stepped down from the post after being sworn in as Sabah Deputy Chief Minister 2 and Sabah Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries on the 29th of September 2020. To question producer, actors involved in video promoting online gambling. Following up on a previous case where several individuals were found to have beaten up 2 bodyguards for fasting, the police have confirmed that they arrested 5 suspects in a series of operations to facilitate further investigations into the case. Of the 5 suspects arrested, 4 of them were detained in Klang Selatan, Selangor, while the remaining one was apprehended in Dangwangi, Kuala Lumpur. Selangor Police Chief Dato' Arjunaidi Mohamad, through a statement, explained that all suspects have been remanded for 5 to 7 days. Members of the public are advised to refrain from making any baseless speculations, sharing and spreading of news from unconfirmed sources. Selangor Police also issued a warning to any parties who wish to act by causing further disturbance into the situation or acting out of their legal bounds. This follows numerous video clips uploaded onto social media urging for harsh punishment to be meted out to the suspects. The police will be calling in the producers and actors suspected to be involved in the viral video promoting online gambling. In a statement, Deputy Inspector General of Police Dato' Seri Akril Sani Abdullah Sani said the content of the video was clearly against the law, adding that the police investigations would focus more on the producer and actors who starred in the video. Dato' Sri Akril Sani said Bukit Aman Criminal Investigation Department has lodged a report to investigate the origin of this video. He said the Communications and Multimedia Commission (MCMC) would also be contacted to assist in the investigation, adding that the case would be investigated under Section 504 of the Penal Code and Section 4, Subsection 1, Subsection G of the Open Gambling House Act. He said the public is advised not to circulate or share this video through social media so as to not stir public concern. The 2-minute 1-second Hari Raya Aidilfitri themed video clip promoting online gambling had been making its rounds on social media since yesterday. The advertisement caused an uproar as it promoted gambling as a means to earn more money for Hari Raya. Meanwhile, the Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission (MCMC) has communicated with media platform providers such as Facebook, Twitter and YouTube to remove the controversial advertisements. In a statement today, MCMC said the content would be removed in accordance with the terms of service as well as the community standards set by the overseas-based media platform providers. The Commission also said parties involved, such as the production team, should be more sensitive to not complicit in activities that promote online gambling, which is clearly against the law. MCMC said in the freedom to provide content, providers should follow a content code that is in line with the norms of a pluralistic Malaysian society. It said the act of disseminating the content would only directly help those involved in spreading messages that promote gambling, which could be detrimental to the Malaysian community. An unemployed man pleaded not guilty in the Sessions Court in Butterworth today to a charge with abusing his girlfriend's 7-month-old son. Muhammad Fakhri Abdul Muttalib, 25, had initially pleaded guilty when the charge was first read out to him last 16th of March, and the court had fixed today for sentencing. However, he changed his plea when the charge was read out again before Judge Nur Aini Yusof. He was charged with committing the offence at an apartment at Jalan Harbour Place at 9 p.m. last 6th of March. The charge was framed under Section 32, Subsection 1, Subsection A of the Child Act 2001, which provides a maximum fine of 50,000 ringgit or imprisonment for up to 20 years or both upon conviction. The court allowed Muhammad Fakhril bail of 10,000 ringgit with one surety and set 27th of May for mention. Deputy Public Prosecutor Muhammad Shekal Che Murad prosecuted, while the accused was represented by lawyer Ambanathan Yathi Raju. Over 9,300 litres of liquor believed to have evaded tax was successfully confiscated by the enforcement branch of the Royal Malaysian Customs Sarawak after inspecting a cargo lorry last Friday. The confiscation made at Jalan Tunku Abdul Rahman also saw the seizure of cargo lorry in the operation carried out at 1:30 p.m. State Customs Director Herman Shah Abdullah informed that the total value of confiscated items, including the liquor and cargo lorry, amounted to 136,073 ringgit and 60 cents, in addition to a duty value of about 139,764 ringgit and 45 cents. Also arrested was the lorry driver, a local man in his 50s. Herman also explained that the cargo lorry was believed to be on the way to Kuching to transport and sell the liquor to buyers in the area. The demand for liquor had increased due to lack of supply after continuous enforcement agencies' operations in addition to the upcoming Gawai Dayak celebrations. The case is being investigated under Section 135, Subsection 1, Subsection E of the Customs Act 1967. Sports, only 11 sports to be contested at ASEAN Para Games in Hanoi. Fasting during Ramadan is not a hindrance for the players of the national men's hockey squad to remain enthusiastic in their training sessions ahead of international friendly matches at the Bukit Jalil National Hockey Stadium from tomorrow to 24th of April. Its head coach, A. Arul Selvaraj, who conducted the training for the very first time in the fasting month since he was appointed in August last year, was excited to witness the positive atmosphere shown by his 22 players during the session last night.
Esok more on our build-up play and our concept tu saja. Yeah. Because kita ada training 1 jam setengah, so saya just fokus yang paling saya perlu tumpukan untuk tournament ni sahaja.
Arul said he would continue the training sessions in the evening during the month of Ramadan, even after the completion of the friendly matches. The national men's hockey team is expected to play against Great Britain and Japan in a series of friendly matches. A total of 22 players, comprising 10 players from the Tenaga Nasional Berhad TNB team, 7 UniKL players, 3 Maybank players and 2 from the Terengganu hockey team THT, are involved in the friendly matches. Vietnam has confirmed that only 11 sports are to be contested at this year's 11th ASEAN Para Games in Hanoi this December, although there was a demand for 4 more sports to be added. According to the statement from Vietnam ASEAN Para Games Organising Committee, they have officially informed the ASEAN Para Sports Federation, APSF, that the Vietnam government and related authorities were unable to fulfill the proposal to include 4 additional sports proposed for the biennial games. It said Vietnam are not able to meet the proposal made by the APSF Board of Governors due to economic reasons and difficulties in preparing venues and facilities due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The proposal to add 4 more sports, namely wheelchair basketball, CP football, cycling. That concludes this evening's news at 10. In our top story, existing vaccines still effective against UK South African variants. Join us again at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon. I'm Cynthia Arthur. Stay tuned to saluran Berita RTM and have a pleasant evening.